What's up guys, Pypo here, bringing you a video today of me doing some Guild Naeus action. Gonna go to Lighthouse, trying to do some work here. Although Lighthouse, actually no, fuck Lighthouse. I've been going Lighthouse all day and we've been losing all fucking day because Lighthouse just does not seem to go well for Pypo when I don't have anyone with me, which, yeah, you kind of need, like, look at this. If I went there to Lighthouse, I'd be with one other dude. Like, that poor guy is going there by himself. If he caps that, though, fucking props to you, buddy. But what I want to talk about in this video today was, I have a story that I wanted to tell, because you guys do seem to like story time, even though I did not happen to talk about any stories recently. I apologize for the lack of story time, but I just want to, I want to tell this one because I find it quite funny. It's kind of like the definition of my early childhood life. By childhood, I mean like I was 12? I have to explain some stuff. So basically, when you live in the middle of nowhere like I do, there's two kinds of things that you get into. Like, pretty much every single kid does this. You either get into motorbiking or you get into horse riding. Obviously, those two things usually like happen to settle on the two different sexes. Like, motorbiking's for guys, horseback riding's for girls. I don't know why that is. Like, I like horses. Why can't I ride a horse? I don't understand but like, why does she get to ride a horse? I'm sitting there riding a motorbike. I like motorbikes. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying, like, I like horses too. Why can't I ride a horse? Anyway, fucking. So I naturally got a motorbike when I was younger. I think it was like an XR80. I have no, like, I'm terrible with that shit. I think it was an XR80, something like that. And naturally, because I live in the middle of nowhere, I would just ride it everywhere. I would just ride it around in the bush. I'd ride it to people's houses. I literally would, like, ride on the streets. Like, there's never really an issue. But after a while, they decided to build a retirement home near where I live. And I think the old people started to complain, the police started to get involved, and slowly but surely they started to, like, hammer down on kids riding motorbikes around because it is technically illegal. So eventually it got to the point where I couldn't ride my bike anywhere, and I don't own property or anything like that. I literally just rode it around, like, the neighborhood. But luckily for me, I had a friend in school who, I just happened to mention to him that, like, hey, like, I fucking have this motorbike, I got nothing to do with it. I think I was actually trying to sell it at the time. I was like, man, I need to try and sell this motorbike or something. Like, this is bullshit. Like, I can't even use it. And I think he told me, like, hey, fucking, I own property. Like, if you want to come, like, ride your motorbike with me, I own some property. My family owns it. We have a whole, like, track out there. You can come ride it whenever you want. And I kind of, at that point in time, was like, well, that sounds awesome. But I didn't have any way to get my bike out there. Like, it's super far away. And then he just said, like, this offhand comment, like, well, hey, we can, you can just use one of our bikes. Like, I think he was just one of these, like, richer guys that just had shit. So you can just use one of our bikes. And I was like, oh, okay. And then nothing really happened for, say, 6 months or something like that, you know. You know how it is. Like, people talk about stuff and then nothing happens for a while. That's kind of what happened. But eventually, I guess he just remembered. And he was like, hey, I'm going riding this weekend. Do you want to come? And I was like, if it's cool with you that I use one of your motorbikes. And he's like, yeah, it's fucking cool with me. And I was like, you realize I haven't rode anything like that big, and I'm fucking a bit frightened of it. Like, I was scared of, like, bigger bikes because at the time, I think my dad had a motorbike and he used to ride me around on the back, and he's fucking insane. My dad used to do stupid amounts of speed while I was sitting on the back of his bike, so it kind of scared the shit out of me. But nonetheless, I like doing it. But he's like, no, I have a little brother that has, like, a smaller bike that you can use and just ride around. And I was like, all right, sweet, I'll come out and do it. So that weekend we go out, and it's pretty fun to begin with. I'm riding the smaller bike around. I'm getting my confidence up because I hadn't ridden in a while, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I remember being a lot of fun. And then something happens where I guess the younger brother that he was talking about just happened to, like, wake up and come outside and was like, hey, I want to ride bikes as well. And naturally, I'm like, oh, you know, of course, it's your bike. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But then at the same time, the older brother who'd been riding around all day also finished. And then this weird thing happens when you're a young kid where it's kind of peer pressure-y, but it's not. Like, my friend's like, well, like, he still wanted to ride, and he still wanted to ride with me. It's like, why don't you just use my older brother's bike? And this is a much larger bike. Like, it's a big dirt bike. I think it was like a 250 or something, and I was riding like an 80. I went from like an 80 to a 250, so that's like, it's a big jump. It's a big jump. And it got to the point where I was like, man, I kind of really didn't want to do this, but I got peer pressured into doing it, and I did it. And then once I got on the bike, I started riding around. There's trees everywhere. There's trees on the right, trees on the left, and there's, like, narrow paths. And somehow I got lost amongst the trees and the pathways. And as I'm going down, like, this one that, like, hooks around, I see, like, this straight line of dirt. I'm like, let's fucking do this. I'm gonna put the hammer down. And I did. And I was like, man, going so fast is awesome. For some reason, along that straight path, there's like a drop, like a 6-foot drop. Like it's just this huge path. I'm riding along like a boss. And there's this huge fucking 6-foot drop that I couldn't see. I'm going fast. It looks like it's straight and everything's fine, and I just fucking fly. I just fucking fly off the edge of this thing, and it was one of those things where I got so far that I, like halfway through falling is when I realized something was wrong, and for some reason my head was like, just hold the brakes, because that'll work. Just hold the brakes. So I hold the brakes, I hit the ground, and somehow, like, because of the way I was standing, my fucking junk, my dick and my balls, get smashed into, like, the back tire somehow. I don't even know how it happened. And I kind of get wedged in the bike for a second. It was fucking excruciating. But then because I had the brakes on, the bike stops, and I fucking, like, as my nuts are getting crunched, I flip forward with the bike and just land on my chest. And you have, like, your whole chest, like, all the air gets out of your fucking chest, and you're just winded as fuck. And I'm, like, doing that weird, then you do that weird, like, fucking thing when you start trying to breathe. I laid there and did that for, like, 30 seconds until I finally caught my breath. And then I was like, oh god. And then I laid there for like another 10 minutes until my friend came and like found me. I was like, oh, I'm fine, because I don't want to appear like a bitch. Anyway, that BG was super quick and I could barely tell the entire story. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.
Come to your senses, Pypo now! Ah!